often my people are portrayed in a negative light. We're not bad people. We only take what has already been abandoned. We are not wrongful because we preserve history for all to see in a near future. We are not evil in any sense because we do no wrong or harm to anyone. Yet you ungrateful citizens of this planet spit your harsh tongues scavenger, delinquent, thief. I prefer to think of our kind as antique aficionados. Yes, that term will suffice. A close friend and fellow aficionado has, as of last night, referred me to an address full of bounteous treasures, all abandoned years ago, and in need of preservation. I intend to visit the building as the day comes to a close. Midnight has finally arrived, so I make my way along the highway en route to my destination, totally unaware of where it may lead or what artifacts I may discover. I take the exit and follow a system of winding back roads. About a mile away from the site, a strong sense of déjà vu washes over me for an unknown reason. Everything about this seemingly abandoned town seems so familiar. Maybe I visited here before on one of my earlier expeditions. I don't know. I try to ignore the feeling, this invasive feeling, as I make my way. Finally, I get to the destination building. It was a broken down, condemned schoolhouse. Are you kidding me? A school? The only antiques I can imagine being in here are some substitute teachers. The building was too old for any new technology, at least any technology of value, and was too new to have any truly antique materials. I could probably find better items in any other building than this one. Nevertheless, I didn't drive all this way to waste gas. And my informant was reliable. Worth a shot, I suppose. I approached the door. The dry, late autumn leaves gave my ascent up the decrepit concrete stairs a sort of haunting feeling. I knew to push away those sort of feelings as mindless superstition. The rusted door hangs slightly off its frame. Perhaps that would be the most expensive item in the whole building. Might as well. This phrase quickly became my motto for the night. Hastening to find a large pole or rock or anything with enough strength to break apart the already decaying frame, I searched and searched to no avail. I cursed my friend for even thinking of sending me this location, with a knuckle-shattering punch to the door. The pain wasn't even a factor for me as the adrenaline kicked in, and I let loose several more blows, each one more powerful than the last. A trace of blood formed on the edge of my knuckle, and I knew I would have to stop before I caused any permanent damage. So I dealt one final blow, facing forward to kick the door in with all my strength, and turned back to my truck. As I turned, a sharp screech sounded, followed by a deafening crash as the door collapsed into the school behind me. A flood of light emanated from behind me. I held back my desire to turn around momentarily, as a thought occurred to me. How, after several years of being abandoned and falling apart, the fuck did the lights still work? There was just no possible way. No way. Turning around only to quell my confusion, I was captivated in the scene before my eyes, and I completely forgot any and all of my prior notions of this facility. There was sparkling tile, brilliant fluorescent lighting, colorful adorned walls. all in mint condition inside the dilapidated structure. Not only were the interior and exterior so contrasting, I couldn't believe my vision. There were students and faculty roaming the halls. I stood in disbelief for several minutes as students chatted and went along their next classes presumably. After the halls were cleared except for a stray faculty member, I took my first step into the building, if only to confirm that this vision was a mere mirage. It was not. I half expected the floor to crumble beneath my feet, but it retained its amazing, seemingly impossible condition. Stepping into the massive hallway, I felt as though entering another world that felt so familiar, which was slightly unnerving. I just couldn't place why these feelings were overcoming me, and the confusion was distracting me from my true objective, finding artifacts from this amazing sight. Recalling this, I began to meander in the hall, searching for an open, isolated room to investigate. After several locked doors and classrooms, I found an unlocked storage area. This is dangerous, I thought while quickly checking the surrounding area to confirm I was alone. And after I was sure, I twisted the knob and entered. The light faded away. What once seemed like a vibrant schoolhouse storage room was now back to its rotten, deserted appearance. It was impossible to see even 5 feet ahead to the pitch black. I brought up my flashlight as I always do. A barely audible moaning began as I flicked the switch and a beam of light penetrated into the darkness. The room I found myself in was far from the gold mine I expected upon entering. Burn marks and cobwebs adorned the walls, and were probably the most expensive items in the heap of garbage. The room was empty. Cursing my luck, I turned to an attempt to exit this nightmarish building, and I froze mid-step as my breath caught up in my throat. Huddled against the wall just outside the door was a young, pale boy. "Richard?" I exclaimed, although I'm not exactly sure why. I'd never known a Richard in my life, at least not one that I care to remember. Upon hearing my voice, the child cocked his head to the left side slightly, just enough to get a glance at me, at the smirk forming on his lips. Curiosity once again coursed through my veins as I drew closer to the young child. How was it that I knew this boy's name? A question forced its way into my mind with each step I took towards this boy. My mind was racing and my attention was divided, so severely I hardly noticed my own feet being drawn toward the child. Each footstep led to an increase in my anxiety, and my heart rate shot up dramatically. As I reached out uncontrollably, the child immediately turned to face me, and my heart flatlined. His pale face was torn apart on the right side, a mask of shrapnel covering it entirely. His smirk grew wider into a smile as his skin faded away to reveal a mass of decaying muscle. Bile rose through my body, the stomach acid burning into my throat as I tried to hold down the vomit. Right as I was sure I was about to lose it, a strange feeling pierced through me on my front side, forcing the bite through my clenched teeth. The child held, in an extended hand, a knife, sticking through my chest. Falling to my knees, I let out the last contents of my stomach, and felt blood slowly drain out of the hole in my chest. As I collapsed, the last thing I heard were children laughing, and the sounds of a distant explosion. Then, silence took over, as my vision faded to black. I woke in my bed, heart throbbing with a rush of adrenaline. It was only a dream, I contented myself. The memory of the past night flashed back to me time and time again throughout the day, seeming so lifelike. The main discouraging thing was I could not remember where reality ended and the dream began. It was as if I left my old life behind and entered a new one. Quickly I grabbed my mobile phone and called my friend to tell him the fantastical yet horrific dream. After 3 tones, he answered the phone. Hello? Hey, it's me. Oh God, are you? Oh God, thank God you're alright. What are you talking about? Yesterday you told me that you were going to that building I told you about, right? It was all over the news. That very building finally collapsed last night. She was a wicked old beast and she obviously had overrun her welcome. Apparently the doorframe had been hammered on, which shook the whole structure, leading to a collapse. That couldn't have been you, could it? I actually did do some damage on the door. But it was in a dream I had. I never actually visited the place. That's actually why I called you. There was a long pause as I tried to complete all the thoughts in my head. How exactly did the building collapse from just a door shaking? That doesn't even make sense. Well, the lady on Channel 5 said years ago, now we're talking about decades, one of those antisocial kids threatened to bomb the place. What the staff didn't know was he actually had built a functioning bomb and hid it in the rafters. Crafty kid, I tell you. But anyways, his homemade bomb blew up most of the support beams and killed several students. And what was his name? Was it Matthew? No. After much deliberation with himself, he exclaimed, "Oh, that's it! His name was Nathan! Nathan Steele!" Shock overcame me and caused me to drop the phone, and it slammed to the ground. Reaching down to pick it up, I felt a sharp pain in my torso. I lifted my shirt only to find a clear, deep cut, about 3 inches wide, straight through my chest, sewn up cruelly. I have to go, I replied hastily, and perhaps too harsh. Why? What happened? I can't explain it now. I'm hurt, and I need an ambulance. I hadn't the heart to tell him what had truly bothered me about the revelation. Memories instantly flooded my mind from the elementary school tenure. Unpleasant and cleanly focused memories I had lost many years ago. All of a sudden, I knew why the building, the school, and the students seemed so familiar. I had known them all. They were neighbors of mine, hallways I'd walked through, classmates I had known. The part of the tale which disturbed me most, however, was the name of the child who bombed the school. For you see, my name is Nathan Steele. Well, yes, I think we can all agree that was quite magnificent, that was wonderful. You are listening to the RightHandofDoom on his channel. He will be making these every so often, though he usually updates at least on Sunday. Now, turning over to our sponsor for this particular video, we turn to you. Why, thank you for having me on. Now, I want to plug in for my little theater group, the Theater Obscurum. Now, you all should join in on the fun. All of your darkest nightmares and wishes will come true. Come and join us in our tent, for all the illusions and fun. Now, for those of you who want even more fun, seeing as it takes so long to crank out these videos, stay tuned to this channel right here, or stay tuned to the Wandering Scarecrow, writer and narrator for Theater Obscurum, or you can check out Awkward Thursdays. As his name says, he's got some very funny videos and some very great music. You can also check out Cat Carnival, or Cat of Carnival, rather. If you're into the Pokemans and whatnot, she'll help you out. As long as you're here with us, we will keep you warm and safe inside the theater. Now, one last thing. For those of you who are wanting to find out more about the man who wrote this story, Mr. Thursday, the link will be sent down below here, and you can just hit subscribe to him as well. He is quite funny. Thank you for having me on your show. Not a problem. We thank you very much for that plug. Please, at this time, hit the subscribe button if you wish to keep going and see more work. It encourages us. Thank you for coming in, and we hope you have a wonderful, scary evening. This again is the Right Hand of Doom, signing out and saying good night and pleasant nightmares. Good day.